The zipper screamed like a secret tearing open, and in that sharp, unforgiving sound, the night shattered before it even began. The CEO stood frozen in her penthouse bathroom, gala lights already warming the city below, her reflection staring back at her with eyes that had negotiated billion-dollar deals but were now filling with tears. The gown, custom, silk, irreplaceable, hung wounded in her hands. If you've ever had a moment where everything you built felt one breath away from falling apart, stay with this story. And if stories like this move you, tap like, subscribe, and let's walk this night together, because what happened next changed more than a dress. Ariana Vale had learned to keep control. Control of meetings, markets, and the silence in rooms where people waited for her to speak. Control of her heart after a childhood that taught her not to need anyone. The gala tonight was not just a celebration, it was the announcement of a merger that would put her company on the global map. Cameras would be there, investors, the press. Her mother's old voice echoed in her head, "Never let them see you break." And yet here she was, hands shaking, mascara untouched, breath shallow, staring at a torn seam that felt like a cruel joke from the universe. Her assistant knocked softly, already apologizing, already suggesting solutions Ariana knew wouldn't work. Another dress couldn't arrive in time. A tailor couldn't cross the city in traffic. Canceling would look weak. Ariana swallowed the sob rising in her throat and told herself to breathe. She stepped into the hallway to think, to move, to not drown in the bathroom light. That's when she heard the elevator ding again, too late for guests, too early for staff, and out stepped a man holding a small backpack and a folded cardboard sign that read, "Deliveries." Ethan Brooks looked out of place in the marble lobby of a glass tower, his jacket worn at the elbows, his shoes clean but tired. He had kind eyes and the posture of someone used to standing at the edge of rooms. He was a single dad, balancing 2 jobs since his wife passed 3 years earlier, saying yes to night deliveries because they paid a little more. The backpack held tools, tape, string, a small sewing kit, and a pair of scissors he kept for his daughter's school projects. He had no idea why security waved him through with a shrug and a nod, only that he'd been told to bring a package upstairs. When Ariana saw the scissors clipped to his bag, something inside her cracked wider than the seam in her dress. She didn't know why she spoke. She didn't know why the words tumbled out, raw and unguarded. "I'm sorry," she said, to no one and everyone. "This is ridiculous. Please, do you know anything about fixing fabric?" Ethan hesitated. He had learned not to assume. He had learned to listen. "I'm not a tailor," he said gently. "But I fix things. Sometimes the fix isn't perfect, but it holds." He glanced at the gown, at her trembling hands, at the clock on the wall counting down to judgment. "If you want, I can try." Ariana laughed through tears she hadn't permitted herself in years. She thought of her board, her father's disappointment, her own relentless standards. And then she thought of how tired she was of carrying everything alone. She nodded. "Please." They moved to the suite, the air heavy with perfume and panic. Ethan laid the gown flat like a patient on an operating table. He asked permission before touching anything. He asked where it hurt, as if the fabric could answer. He studied the tear, the direction of the weave, the weight of the silk. He remembered evenings at the kitchen table with his daughter Lily, scissors and glue, turning broken toys into something usable, telling her that mistakes don't end stories, they start new ones. He cut, carefully, respectfully, releasing tension where the tear threatened to spread. He reinforced from beneath, creating a hidden strength that wouldn't show under the lights. He stitched slowly, hands steady not because he wasn't afraid, but because he knew fear wasted time. Ariana watched, breath held, something unfamiliar warming her chest. No one had ever worked for her without wanting something back. No one had ever been this present. As he worked, they talked, not about deals or losses, but about ordinary things. Ethan spoke of Lily's love for stars and how she believed wishes traveled faster if you whispered them to the sky. Ariana spoke of her mother's old sewing machine, the way the pedal hummed like a promise, how she learned to thread needles before she learned to trust people. The minutes slipped by, and with them, the edge of Ariana's panic dulled into something like hope. When Ethan finished, he held the gown up and waited. Ariana stepped into it, heart pounding. The mirror reflected a woman restored, not flawless but stronger. The repair was invisible unless you knew where to look, and even then, it felt like a secret between the fabric and the hands that saved it. Ariana turned, stunned. I don't know how to thank you. Ethan smiled, embarrassed. You already did. You let me help. Downstairs, the gala bloomed into life. Music, laughter, the soft clink of glasses. Ariana walked into the room with a steadiness that surprised even her. She delivered her speech with clarity and grace, not because nothing had gone wrong, but because something had gone right when she least expected it. She spoke of resilience, of unseen hands, of how strength is sometimes quiet. The applause felt different, earned, honest.